Thanks for coming back. I said I was going to look at a second episode, and I looked at a second episode. I'm moving in Three Body Problem, Season 1, Episode 2. So we moved deeper into the series. Did it get better? Did it get worse? It got better. That's a pretty easy answer. So click the subscribe button so I can continue to talk about Three Body Problem to you. And we can go on this exploration together. And figure out what is a three-body problem, because I still feel like I haven't answered that question. That's okay, they have 8 more episodes. I realize this whole thing dropped at once, so I kind of have to move through the series quickly. I hate binge watching. So the fact that I've already watched the second episode this quickly for you, I'm trying. This is me trying. Yeah, so the second episode, I found out this show is described by Darren Polish. So congratulations to Darren. The audio description here is fantastic. It comes out a lot more when the second episode, when it gets a little bit more focused, you can actually kind of feel the audio description a little bit more in its rhythm. You get to see sort of what it is that it's doing. They spend quite a bit more time with the storyline around the video game in the second episode. And I really enjoyed that part of it. That part really intrigued me. I love that she went to her friend Jack and kept putting on the helmet and just kept getting decapitated. I thought that was funny. I guess that's a spoiler. I'm sorry, but it was funny. I love that the show has levity too, like it wouldn't have been levity if he had actually, like, if she'd gone to her friend and been like, oh yeah, check out the helmet, and then he gets decapitated in real life, and we're like, oh my God. If you die in the game, you die in real life, But this proved that you can actually get killed in the game and not have your head fall off, so, that was a good thing, I thought, anyway. So it's a TV recap. There are going to be some spoilers. I have to be able to talk about the episode. So that was fun, and actually seeing what they do, and the fact that when they go in and they say what their name is, and they're like, you need a name befitting of a warrior. I really wanted somebody to, like, go in and do one of those names. Let's be honest. We've been gamers. We've seen gamers before. There needs to be a Turd Ferguson. There's always somebody with a dumb name. And I wanted Jack's name to be something like that. When he goes in, he felt like the kind of guy that would go in there and give some dumb name and then force the characters to call him that in the video game. Totally felt legit. But of course she chooses, a symbolic Copernicus name when she goes in the game, and we see what was really well described. Follower gets pushed out, can't be under the umbrella, dries out, turns into a little... I'm sure that it sounded horrifying when it was being described. Darren did a really good job of describing this. And I was like, what is happening? And then at the end of it, they're like, oh yeah, this is just what happens. This is what happens to us here. We dry up, and if we do it quick enough, then we can just be rehydrated. So all we need is one of us to survive, because then we can rehydrate the rest of us. What? I mean, that is so creative, I gotta be honest, but isn't it painful? I would think. Like, do you not remember the pain? Do you just kind of wake up from the water and you're like, oh, I guess I dehydrated. Welcome back. Yeah, so they roll up this flat little follower human and go about their day. And then she gets there and she's like, oh, because of physics. And they're like, what's physics? And she's like, physics from our planet. Which planet? What? We also find out that the conversation that she had with the one character had, that they've digitally edited her out, and also that the flash happened, but like technology didn't record it. It's like everybody saw it, but they didn't see it. And I was kind of thinking about that, interestingly, from a blind perspective, right? Because I'm a blind film critic. If you didn't know that by now, welcome. I'm a blind film critic. So I was thinking, I was like, I wouldn't know if the universe flashed. We should put a blind character in this show. There should be a blind character in this show who's like, what, the universe flashed? I didn't see it. You know, like, and also, does everybody actually look up at the sky at the same time? Or is it just the people who were looking up at the sky? So, you know, if it wasn't recorded by digital, it wasn't really seen by everybody. It was seen by the people who were looking at the time, which is actually not going to be that many people. But I'm sure for all of them, it freaked them out, and they're trying to convince other people, and that's what the show's about. But, yeah, so there's that. We did spend a little bit of time over in communist China. There's a guy that's over there trying to plant trees and save a bird. Okay. I don't know where we're going with that. I'm sure we'll find out. Silent Spring came up again. If you saw the book for Silent Spring, that was in the audio description. The dude's at the gravestone for his wife 49th birthday, baked her a cake, and then the lady who wasn't recorded in the other video comes up and is like, oh, I do this for my father too. And I was like, yeah, I'm sure you do. We know that you're the creepy lady that gets digitally edited out of the videos. You obviously need something from this guy. So yeah. What I liked about this episode more is it was less scattershot. I felt like the pilot was trying to do too much in the first episode. It had too many characters, too many ideas, never answered it didn't really promise or answer anything. It just sort of word vomited all over you. It's just like, this is their show. Universe Flash. I hope you enjoyed it. Please come back for more. The second episode actually calms down, and it focuses on a couple of ideas, and it advances those ideas. And by the end, you're left with a cliffhanger of a button being pressed. What does that button being pressed mean? I don't know. We'll find out in the third episode. But it's what these guys did really well in Game of Thrones when they actually were competent. They focused on certain characters, and they had a broadcast, and they didn't focus on every character in every episode. Sometimes they left some characters completely out of the episode, even though they're series regulars, even though we want to see Arya Stark. They didn't need her for that episode because this person had a more interesting story that really required more screen time to dive into. So we spent time doing that. And this is exactly what happens here, is that it invests more time in certain characters so that we can further those characters so you get a greater understanding of who those people are, instead of trying to cover all of its bases all the time. Not a great pilot, a much better second episode. I'm really happy that I stuck with this, and I'm going to continue to. So I'm going to give Three Body Problem, Season 1, Episode 2, an A-. I think we're moving up in the world. So I liked it. We'll see what this Three Body Problem is. And hopefully you'll stick with me on the journey because you clicked subscribe, and now we're tethered together forever. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys on the other side.